come over that hill and the tires are off the ground and it's a blind drive. I think it's an issue that the township should be able to address. I don't think the sheriff told me, he told me, go ahead and put it in, because they're probably gonna let you they're gonna raise the speed limit. That's an answer from our sheriff's department. Ridiculous. No, I think the roads are county, but I think within our guidelines, I think we should have some say, other than having petitions. My road, if you've been on Lake Road, between that road and the herb farm down there, it was all paved. And we got a nice little area there. People walk. We got families of dogs. My wife walks them, and they come down there. They don't even get over. I got a double yellow line going up the hill. They pass on that. When I moved in, it wasn't a year. I had a kid lose control, come down, wipe the power pole out in my turnaround in my driveway, which is probably 30, 40 yards into my driveway. Took out my pine tree that was this big around. Ended up in my ditch upside down. So, no, yes, exactly. We got to do something. I haven't complained about the police. I've seen the sheriff a little bit more than I had in the past. I mean, we could use more. But yes, I think with our kids running around, safety is one of our biggest issues. And I agree with him on this. He asked if anybody was interested, and I said, yeah, White Lake Road, exactly. I mean, we got one house after another. There's 2 lakes between my house and 23. One's already at 35 on our speed limit. And I think that it's time to slow people down. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Anybody else have any comment? Okay, since there's no more comment, we'll move on to unfinished business. We have one. I know we've had some discussion about renovating the township hall. We've heard in several meetings that our residents are concerned as to why we would continue to try and renovate this one when we should be getting a new one. So I've been kind of looking around to see if there's any available property. And right here on Center Road, there is a resident that I have contacted, and at first he said that he wasn't interested in selling, and then he called me back and said that he'd be interested in selling. And I said, well, let me talk to the township board, see if it was something we would be interested in, starting that process with. I pulled the topo map off, actually Ross pulled it off for me, and we were looking at the slope on that site, and I sent it over to Phil to take a look at it, our engineer Phil Westmoreland from Spicer, and asked him if he thought it was a feasible site to build on. I don't know if you want to make any comment about it now, Phil. I hate to put you on the spot, but if you'd like to.
Go ahead if you have any questions.
We're probably looking at, the parcel is 10 acres. It is right here on Center Road. It's close, so it makes a good fit. It's in the center of the township. We would probably need 4 acres of buildable site, and kind of summarize your conversation with me.
Well, basically, there's a lot of grade on the site. There's quite a bit of fall throughout it, and it's fairly heavily wooded, so you're going to have, it'll be more expensive to develop it than it would a flat cornfield. It's not impossible to do. There's, ways you can grade it and use retaining walls and various other means to control the grade within the site, so it is buildable from that perspective. It just is a little more costly than a site that was already cleared and graded flat. So it could absolutely be done. The soils appear to be of the type that would perk. You won't know for sure until you get actual real perk tests out there for your septic system. There's also the possibility, if it doesn't perk, the gravity sewer is not too far away, just on the other side of 23. So you could run a small diameter force main down there for not a lot of extra cost to service that site and hook into this township sanitary system.
Obviously, you haven't done a site visit, but as a general rule of thumb, what would we consider budgeting to clear 4 acres and grade it based on that?
4 acres for clearing alone is probably in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 grand per acre. So you're going to look at, on the high side, 60 grand to clear 4 acres. And then depending on where you site the building on the site, you're probably going to add another 80 to 100, 110 for grading, especially if you end up having to use retaining walls on some of that site because of the slopes. So it all kind of depends on where you put everything, but you're probably looking at, $100,000 to $200,000 range for just,
Site prep.
yeah, site prep type things. Now, certainly you could probably get that closer. Haven't done any value engineering. We haven't looked at ways to save money. Right now I'm thinking worst case scenario
So in order
beyond
to
that
do this
range.
to be feasible, we'd have to get a good deal on that land.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely would come into consideration for that piece of property because it would take, some additional work.
Well, thank you, Phil. I can bring these concerns up to the property owner and just see if he has a number in mind, and then we can bring it back and talk about it, if you'd like. If it doesn't seem like it's feasible to do it, then we just continue looking. What are your thoughts?
Information's information. Get it. It's free.
Okay. I just don't want to walk down an avenue that everybody's not in support of, so.
Even if we do renovate or do a complete renovation or rebuild of this, we're going to have displacement of the township hall. There's going to be costs in that. So if we move the township a temporary place, there's going to be some thousands of dollars spent just with
absolutely.
displacement. So if we didn't have to displace the township, that could be looked at in a way that would, as a cost push, whatever that cost would be, but information's free, get it, in my opinion.
And on the other note, while we're talking Township Hall renovation, the old Township Hall, we just had the floors sanded and refinished, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'll see if we can get a picture on it and show it at our next meeting, but is one of the things that we're working on. So next year, we've got a couple more things, and it's going to be fully functional and a beautiful site to use, so. Okay, moving on to new business. Item number 1 is the Payne Denton View boundary realignment. Al, are you prepared to speak on that?
Yeah, this was a pretty clean one. They just had two fairly equal sized parcels, and they moved land to one and made the other one a smaller, like 2-acre parcel.
Right.
We just had a couple things we needed from them yet, and we got that, so I think we're good to go. I'd make a motion that we approve the Payne Denton View boundary realignment.
Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the Payne Denton View boundary realignment. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is item number 2, Public Safety Resolution 180801, distribution of levy upon land in Special Assessment District. I know we've heard public comment, and we haven't done any conversation regarding this since then. We charge $250 for commercial parcel. Charge $150 for a residential parcel with a dwelling on it, $75 for a vacant parcel, and then the $250 plus an additional $20 for every unit on a multi-unit commercial parcel. We've had 2 or 3 people that, actually 3 people that spoke out in opposition of the $20 fee, and I was wondering if anybody had any additional thoughts or comments about that.
No. How many square foot is a trailer home lot? I think they're extremely small. They might 8,000 square feet, 6,000 square feet, something like that. They're not very big.
Yeah, they're not big.
They're probably 1/8 of an acre. Minimum acreage in the township is now 3. They do not own the property. One entity owns the entire property, so that one entity technically pays a pretty hefty sum per the chunk of property. In my opinion, $6,000, that's $75 an acre per year, roughly, with rough math for, say, Tyrone Woods. As far as a residential lot, yeah, $150 for the lot. I own 10 and a half acres and I only pay $150. The person that owns 80 acres across the street from me pays $6,000. The people that own the trailers do not own the property. They may own the trailer, but they do not own the property. So the burden of paying the tax is on the property owner, or the assessment. Obviously, this is a big topic of discussion. You know, how does an apartment complex pay say if there was an apartment complex, how would they pay its fair share? You know, I think the mobile home, you know, they're also low-income housing development units, and we must allow up to 2 of them per township across the whole state of Michigan. No matter what, we have our 2. So I know it's a lot less, you know, $20 is a lot less than the $150 I pay and everybody else pays, and the $250 for commercials and the vacant lands. But we can't lose sight of the fact that they are low-income housing developments. So there's I'm just being devil's advocate here. I think the property itself accounts for a whole lot of money per
Yes.
acre,
It does.
more than what we all pay. Now, yes, there's families in there and there's more calls for close distance, but I think there's more assessment paid into the close proximity than we all pay across the other board, just as an outlook of it. Yeah, it does sound unfair that we may be paying more than their share, but they don't own that land. Probably, I would assume, half to 3/4 of the people in there are renting. So, I think this is a pretty tough gray area to try to really nail each individual household when they don't even own the property. Feedback?
The park needs to keep the lot rents comparable to others, or if it's too high, they're not gonna get anybody in there.
Right.
It's gotta be competitive with the other parks, so.
Excuse me, Scott. We respectfully honored your voice. This is the second time that you've interrupted. You do it again, I'm going to ask you to leave.
That's fine.
Thank you. Sorry, Al, continue. Or were you done?
Well, that was it, just
Anybody have anything else to add on that?
I just think it's a pretty heavy burden to put on the property owner of the manufactured community, because obviously they can't pass it on to their residents very easily.
Right.
Well, you know, when you look at a tax burden in its entirety, we have homesteaded homes. Many of them in this township are homesteaded. We have non-homesteaded homes. Those trailer parks are non-homesteaded. They're paying 18 mills to the public school system where the homesteaded homes aren't. They've also connected to the Livingston Regional Sewer System. The O&M fees and the debt retirement have helped with the sewer bond issue. So if you want to go parcel by parcel or home by home and look at the tax burden, dollar by dollar, they're paying far more than most of the homes in our community.
Way to go over the numbers.
You've got some numbers if you'd like
I
to
do.
share them, so.
So Sun Cider Mill Crossing, they pay roughly $6,400 a year for public safety. They pay for sewer $179,000 for their sewer, and then their taxes. So total tax bill last year was $214,831. Tyrone Woods, they paid just over $6,100 in public safety, and they paid $46,800 in sewer. And their tax bill, that's just their winter
That's not their
tax
summer
bill.
tax bill.
Yeah, that's when the assessments are on. So their winter tax bill was $68,755. And that's with the homestead that Mike was talking about, because they do not get that break. They pay the 18 mills. So I think that's more than their share,
And when you look at it as a whole.
public safety
Yep,
and,
I agree. And when you look at it as a whole, it's their connections to the sewer that have freed up the money for us to repave Denton Hill Road, gravel Heartland Road, repave Fawcett Road, repave Old US 23, Denton Hill next year, Bennett Lake Road, gravel on Foley Road, gravel on Linden Road, Hogan Road, et cetera, et cetera. I think that they're paying more than their fair share. If you want to go single line item, that's looking at a small piece of the pie, and I don't think that's fair. So unless anybody has any opposition to it, we can go ahead and move forward.
My personal opinion on it is, I think it's adequate.
you too. For the amount of homes and the acreage that they have, I think it's adequate.
Any other comments or discussion? I'll entertain a motion for the
Linda has a
resolution.
question.
When you say 18 mills, that is non-homestead?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what is homestead now?
Home, no, that is not, yeah, that's non-homestead. If you have homestead, you don't pay that operator.
Is a normal taxpayer?
Well, this township tax is
It's
.89,
.8973, I
yeah,
think.
something like that. Yeah, so,
They pay that plus an additional 18 mils.
yep.
Okay, so I'll entertain. a
I'll
motion.
resolve to adopt the special assessment for the police and fire.
Second.
Been motion and supported to adopt the public safety resolution for police and fire. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Al Poole.
Yes.
I say yes, and David Walker's absent.
Okay, so that resolution passes. Next is item number 3, request of Jeanette Smith to appeal a fire run service charge. Is Jeanette here tonight? Okay, so basically what we have is we have a fire run appeal that occurred, let me go back up here, on 3/25. There was a motor vehicle accident where there was a collision between two vehicles. The son or daughter of son of Jeanette Smith left their lane, made contact with the other vehicle. It was in the police report that they were at fault. They were billed for the fire run. Their insurance company is denying their claim, and they are appealing their service charge. Also note that they were 2 months ruined in their time to appeal this. Not here to speak on her behalf, but she feels that the charges are too much and that she shouldn't have to pay them.
The bill is clear that it is for emergency services because of the accident that was caused. At fault. never a fan of capitalizing off of somebody's demise, but as far as what this sounds like it is, something like this, I don't think we've reversed so much on it that much, and I don't know where, why, or what we should do unless we change the ordinance, and the ordinance is what it is right now.
Right. I mean, this is, there's no gray area here. I mean, the accident was caused at fault party, and they're really not here to speak on their behalf, other than the fact that they feel that they shouldn't have to pay it, so. Anybody else have any other comments, or?
I think what some of them don't understand is we don't have our own police and fire protection.
Right.
So we have to outsource that. So every run that they go on, we have to pay. Is it always fair for the amount of work they do? No. But is it what we have to do in order to have police and fire protection? Yes.
You know, and these are never fun. I don't like hitting somebody with a $1,400 bill. But we have rules for burning. Follow the rules for burning, and we don't have to be the bad guy. Don't text and drive. Pay attention to what you're doing. When it's snowing outside, don't drive 65 miles an hour, you know? So, I mean, it puts us in a situation where we feel bad.
Has the township been proactive with wording or consulting
Yes.
with somebody on wording the bills so that the insurance
I
company
think David helped
has less?
reword it.
Yeah.
Because I know that's been a big problem. I mean,
Well,
and the insurance companies, I mean, cut down really should cover these things, but that's what they do. They give
well,
these
I
people
read
such
I read
grief.
the letters from the insurance company. Now, just my personal opinion, because I'm not the one writing the letters, but it really looks like they're trying not to pay claims.
Right.
And they're looking for every excuse. I mean, in this case, the insurance company said, they find our ordinance invalid. Well, who's the insurance company to find our ordinance invalid after the state Supreme Court said it was? That's what makes me think, hey, you know, these insurance companies that, they say that they're your best friend or your neighbor and they're good hands or whatever. Well, make sure before you sign up. So,
And in answer to your question, we did go in and change the invoices that are sent out so that they provide more detail about what services were provided. So we have done that so that it makes it easier for them to have the information to submit to the insurance company.
Well, it makes it easier for the people that are in these unfortunate accidents to be able to go and turn that bill in, and
Exactly.
less
Right.
likely for the insurance company to give them the runaround.
Right, so we have done that to help them with their insurance claims.
I mean, right here in the narrative, Unit 1 was in the highway left passing lane of travel. Unit 2 was also on US 23 in the right lane. The driver of Unit 1 did not know what happened.
Imagine that.
How do our residents shoulder that tax burden or fee burden because somebody didn't know what they were doing? So,
And it's hard when that person's not here to offer more insight too. So all we have to look at is what's on paper.
Yeah, and apparently didn't care enough to be here to,
well, I don't think if they don't care, they have a job they cannot get off.
yeah, well, that's
So, what do we want to do with this?
I don't think there's anything to do with
I
it.
move we leave it, the bill as stands.
Okay.
I don't think we either do something or nothing, right?
Yeah, I don't think we have to.
I don't think we, I don't really,
think we
actually, I
have
don't
to
think
vote
we
on
even
it.
have to do a motion on it because
Right.
it's a billing and nobody motioned to uphold it, so. Is it dead?
Yep.
I think so.
Next item is Planning Commission appointments. First is the Planning Commission, Dave Wardeen. He has decided to stay on for another 3-year term, so his term will expire in '21. Ron Puckett's term is expired, and he's served a few terms here, and he's decided that he's fulfilled his obligation to his community. However, Perry Green, who is on our ZBA, has graciously stepped up and would love to fill this role. I had once interviewed him for this role, and he was very fitting, but new to the community and at that time, and he decided whatever would be good for him at the time, but now he really wants to step up, so I'd like to appoint Perry Green and Dave Wardeen to the Planning Commission. And then the Zoning Board of Appeals, Greg Carnes, he's been the chairman of that for quite some time. He would like to continue on, and his will go till 21, as will Perry's. And we will have a vacancy on the Zoning Board of Appeals, which I'll look to fill to take Perry Green's spot.
And
So
then you
does
have-
anybody have any questions?
You have another opening,
Yeah.
do you have an opening for Cam
Cam.
then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to fill that. That's a gimme.
Included there yet?
I'm sorry?
What about Cam? Is his position being filled?
Not yet.
Not yet. It will be, though.
Do we need to make motions or
We have to
anything
make
on
a
these?
motion
Okay.
to approve the zoning board of appeals and the planning commission appointments.
Do them both at the same time?
I have them as separate.
Approve what you...
It's probably best if you do them separate. So the first one is, they're my appointments and your approval, so if someone would make a motion for Dave Wardeen's term for 8/21, that would be great.
So moved.
It's been motioned and supported to appoint Dave Wardeen to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Next appointment is Perry Green for a 3-year term.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to appoint Perry Green to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is Greg Carnes for a 3-year term to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and supported to appoint Greg Carnes to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Do we have to put his longer?
Yeah, I'll have to find an alternate and then a replacement for Cam. So I'll get those posted.
Okay.
I want to make sure that they were approved before I
Gotcha.
posted them. We have no miscellaneous business. Last chance for public remarks. Anyone? Scott?
Scott Dietrich, 13505 Wayland Lake Road. Sorry for the outburst, but I'm disgusted for the insults from you. Insult my intelligence. What difference does it make what size lot? Whether I got 100 or 150 or an acre lot. And you go on about the sewer hookups. Well, you know what? The individuals going down these streets pay a lot more for hookup and sewers than the individual in those trailer parks. Individually, you sit there, Jennifer, and told me how much Sun Communities is paying. Well, you know what Sun Communities paid for that trailer park? They got it on, it was on default. It sat there and sat there. The township was considering buying it because of the back tax. We locked the back taxes on that property because it went into the sale, okay? They bought it for $350,000. My heart bleeds for the money they're making. Don't insult my intelligence. You are here to represent us, not Sun Communities. By themselves.
I'm
sorry.
not- I'm not
sorry.
representing
You
them.
mentioned it.
I'm not
We're charging
representing
too
them.
much. Listen, I'm not no fool. Every dime that goes into that rent, most people are paying for. I understand that, but some communities ain't paying for it. It gets passed on. I'm not a fool. We know a business. Problem. It's not even bad enough. Our local government is so concerned about a rich man getting richer and richer and richer. He paid $350. He paid for that whole community over there. What somebody might pay around this community for one house. One house. And then he's going to add another 100 units over there, I think. And then that's going to be dumped in, and we're going to get more fire runs. How much are they going to pay for the sewer hookups for that? Probably nothing compared to whether we put 100 houses down the street. It'll be a pittance. So no, you know what? They did help us. I'm not going to say, I like every one of you here. You're part of the community. But don't insult me. Don't insult our residents. We pay our tax. It's a fee. Is this a fee or a tax for this? You're asking all of us individually, together, to pay the $150. Okay, we're going to go vote on this. Or if we tell you we want, yes, we
No,
want.
you're not voting
You're not
on
voting,
this.
okay, you're asking us, okay? So you're gonna go ahead and do it. Okay, fine. But you didn't take into consideration all this stuff. But you know, like this, it just appalled. It's not such a, it's just crazy. When you sit there and try to spin it and spin it and spin it, because the owners of Sun Community, I'm sorry, but I hear it on the news every day with our politicians up in Washington. You spin it just so the rich guy gets richer. I don't care about Sun Communities. I do care about those people, but don't tell me they're all poor over there. I see the cars they drive. They're, like Lynn said, their houses are bigger than his. It doesn't matter what size lot, the lot don't burn, it's the house. The police department comes, whether it's a rented lot or if it's 100 acres. Don't insult me no more. That's why I bursted. God.
Anyone else? Yes. Please.
This might be totally separate, but about 3 weeks ago, a neighbor of mine south of me had the drain commission come out and replace their floats in their holding tank. When they came out, I commented to them, I said, look at my grass over there. I said, it looks like it's getting 10 times the purpose. Probably some seepage. So luckily they went over there and lifted up the lid, and my holding tank was completely full of water. I'm going to find out when they went to the box on my house, power outages, a brownout that we receive, I had a part in the box. So, I would probably say about over a year, my pump wasn't even working. We're paying $900 a year in O&M fees, and I don't know if we have any input on getting them to, I know they come out when you request them, but if the alarm doesn't go off because you got a burnt part, how can we hold them a little bit more accountable? I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's experiencing issues out there, and I know they love us dearly at the Drain Commission, but it's just, you know, we're paying $900 for O&M, operation and maintenance fees, and why can't they come out and do a 6-month, quarterly, something, just to take a lift off and see if people's pumps are working? Like I said, I don't know, I might be speaking out of turn.
No, it's a valid concern. I don't know the answer to that question. That would be the proper forum, I think.
But it's just, it is kind of weird, you know, people are paying $900 a year and their stuff's not even working, you know, and it's like, alarm's not going off. I didn't know, and nobody else would know, but just to let you know, so you can write it down in the notes that the Drain Commission, once again, is slacking on their service.
Yeah, I think the Board of Public Works is the correct forum.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, we have no more public comment. I'll call for a motion to adjourn. So moved. It's been motioned
Support?
and supported to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
My son is working on his citizen, the community merit badge, and so he's coming to me.
Can you come up here and talk to me?
Yeah, we can come to that.
What's your name?
Hi, yes, good, how are you?
I'm Mike, very nice to meet you. So you're working on a merit badge for?
It's for
And is
Boy
it-
Scouts, right?
Yeah.
My boys are both Eagle Scouts, so, yeah.
What an awesome organization.